Going live, going live. Hey guys, welcome to Travel Chat. Today's Travel Chat, I wanted to talk about jealousy and dating issues in Asia. Now, if you're in Asia and you don't have any issues, then I kind of beg to differ whether or not you're actually dating someone because there's a lot of issues when you're dating somebody when you come to Asia. And it could be Thailand, it can be the Philippines, it can be anywhere. And it's pretty common. And the more guys I talk to, the more issues I'm finding. And even myself, I encounter some things. And some are realistic, some are unrealistic. And why do we have all the issues that we have in dating? So, hey Chuck, good to see you. So I think we have a lot of issues in Asia dating because the men have not been mentoring the generations below them, and it's been getting less and less and less. And so the men no longer hold each other accountable. So if a man was not being a good man, another man isn't calling him out saying, "Hey, why are you acting like this? Why are you dating this girl and not being right to her or whatever?" Men aren't dialoguing that anymore. So a lot of the men are just doing whatever they want to do, and that's not good. And so as a result, a lot of the ladies don't have trust in men when they're dating, and they hear the stories, they see the issues, they hear all the problems. And I believe it all stems from the men letting the other men not be accountable. So, all things to think about. So, welcome to today's travel chat. Now, a lot of people, when they come to Asia, they're going to date or marry somebody. And these are very real things that you're going to encounter that you need to think about and work through. So, if you guys can come up with some things that you've encountered, go ahead and share those because I'd be curious to know some issues with trust that you've encountered, some issues that people that you may have known have had trust issues when dating. I'd be curious to know. So, a real common issue is jealousy. Jealousy is one of the biggest things that my friends confide in me that they deal with. I read it on the forums. It's something that I've heard about for years. And why are the girls so jealous? Well, it could be you're in demand, you're different, you're unique. Maybe the girls are competing. Maybe it's just a lot of the guys are not good guys and they've created issues of their own. So we've got this whole pot of stew that's been stewing and it's not been a good pot. And so you might be the best guy with the best intentions coming here to Asia, and you're going to have to pick through this stew pot and pick out the pieces that you don't like and try to navigate through the ones that you have to deal with. So it's a deal. I remember one guy telling me that the gal that he was seeing was looking at all his photos. Who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Who's that? And they were just random people in a photo, you know. And some of the jealousy issues get so deep that it can sabotage your relationship before it ever begins. And that's really the shame of it all. And so that's just something to think about if you plan to date here in Asia. All these things you're going to counter. All right. So good to see you, Chuck. And then we've got David in the house. Hey, David. Oh, excuse me. Hey, Vern. Either one is fine. Just don't call me late for dinner. I'll go by either one. So I remember when I had come to the Philippines, and I think I was only here for a year or two, and I was just casually dating, just very casually dating. And I remember this girl said to me, she says, "Who were you with on the back of your motorcycle?" Or who was on the back of your motorcycle? Who were you with? And I'm thinking, I wasn't with anybody. What are you talking about? Who was I with? And this was like 2016, 2017. Now I'm thinking, how do you get out of something that you didn't even get yourself into that's not even real? It's totally fabricated. Maybe somebody in the neighborhood saw somebody and they thought, oh, that must be so and so. And it wasn't. And I got nailed for it. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but no, I didn't have a girl on the back of my bike. And that's how crazy it gets, you guys. It just gets blown out of proportion, unrealistic at times. And if you're dating here, you're going to have to navigate some of that stuff. Hey, Edwin. Good to see you, Kansas City, Missouri. Now, I rode through Kansas City, Missouri in the late 80s. We rented, what was it? It was like a Fox body Mustang, an 88, 89 Mustang. And a friend of mine was into the model cars. So we drove down there for this big model car show. I remember that. And I got to drive that car. And I remember it was so small in the back seat, we had just enough room for an igloo cooler and one human being. It was just tiny little back seat. But the thing that really surprised me is when we were downtown, it seemed like we were going back in the 50s. And that always stuck on in my head. I'm like, wow, this is like a time warp here. So welcome and good to see you. And then we've got Toronto. Hey, Brad, welcome. Good to see you. So jealousy in Asia. And I've heard crazy stories from people in Thailand, Vietnam. It doesn't matter. There seems to be like a jealous streak that runs throughout Asia. Now, like I said, I attribute it to the guys not holding the other guys accountable. Now, here's another thing that I just remembered. When I was in Cebulan, which is right next to Dumaguete, that was the first place that I lived when I moved into the Philippines. There was a young man that lived in our complex, and he was a nice man, and he confided in me that he was dating three girls at once. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? How do you date three girls at once? How do they not find out about each other? And he's like, well, because he's got three different SIM cards. And I'm like, three different SIM cards? How do you even keep all these stories in your head? It was so ridiculous. But that's what some of the girls are seeing. They're seeing these chick boys. They're seeing the guys that are going through the girls. And as a result, if you're coming here as a foreigner, you're going to get some of that fallout. You're going to receive on the tail end that distrust. Even if you didn't do anything wrong, the stage is set for people to be hypersensitive to trust. And it's not easy. And I tell you, it's from everybody that I've talked to, there's always something that you're going to have to deal with. Now, every relationship here comes with its own baggage. And if you're with somebody that had somebody that was disrespectful and created distrust issues, then chances are you're going to have to deal with those distrust issues on top of the cultural normal distrust issues that come up. So it can just be a complete minefield, you guys. Now, another guy that I had chatted one time. So I'm trying to keep this totally anonymous. I don't want to name any names, but his gal was to the point where she wanted to follow him around everywhere. Now, that's some real big trust issues if you can't even leave your mate for a little while. And if the person was real flirty with other girls and they set that tone, or if there's some way that they disrespected that person, that they felt they had to be that way, then maybe that would be a result of that. But what if they didn't do any of those things? What if that person was so insecure that they had to be that way? And now that's what you got to deal with. How do you get somebody to let you out of their sight and give you that benefit of the doubt for just a little bit of trust? You know, it gets to be pretty crazy, you guys. So you really gotta work through these things. Hey, we are in the Philippines. I think a lot of these guys are in the Philippines, actually. All right, so where are we at here? Kind of working through some of your comments at the same time. So I did a video about don't be a simp in the Philippines or Thailand. You know, I think I did see reference to that. I'll have to look at that again. I didn't watch it, but I'll keep that in mind. So, you know, trying to hold your ground and be a man is not easy to do in today's society. And will people give you the benefit of the doubt that you may be a good man without having to like prove and jump through a ton of hoops? That's the other thing. Hey, AF, good to see you, my friend. Hi, Vern. Nice to be here on time. I think foreigners have a bad reputation with Filipinas because many foreigners go there for the bars and chasing girls. You know, that's a good point. A lot of foreigners set that tone. But the longer I stay in the Philippines, I'm finding that there are a lot of good foreigners that are out of the limelight, that don't do any of those things, that are just here to try to find love, to be happy, to try to reset their life. And those people don't get noticed. They don't get the limelight. It's usually the bad that do that. But, you know, it takes two people to tango. So it kind of goes on both sides. And when girls talk about chick boys, well, there has to be chick girls, right? Because these guys are with somebody else. It has to be a two-way street. It just isn't with one person. But then again, it kind of comes down to the man has to be a foundation. He has to be a leader. And when he's not a leader, he's not a foundation, then everything just kind of goes south. Nothing can work. So that's why I believe that men need to start holding other men accountable. We need to talk to the other men. Hey, you need to treat this girl better because you deserve to be treated better. And if we held the men accountable, then there wouldn't be so much of this going on, you know? But then the girls also need to hold the other girls accountable. So it's kind of a two-way street. It's not just one way, right? So good to see you, AF. All right. So Edwin, yeah, back in the 80s, it was like that. Most of the buildings are gone. Yeah, interesting. That's real interesting. I haven't been back there for a long time, so it's probably advanced now. Everything's changed so much. And there's been a lot of building. All right. So don't send Filipinos money. I made that mistake. You know, that's a slippery slope right there. When I was younger, I tried helping people out that I thought would be good, but I learned a hard lesson. So, you know, borrowing anybody, I mean, it doesn't have to be a Filipina, it can just be anybody money is a risk, right? And I think when we like somebody, we try to give them the benefit of the doubt that we can trust them because we like them, even if we don't know them. We kind of give a little bit more lenience, and that can go against us, right? You got to really be careful who you borrow money to because you can lose it and be taken advantage of in a heartbeat, and it's happened to me also. So yeah, but you know there are people that have been helped that did good things with that. And that's another thing. We don't hear much about those people, the people that needed a hand down. So a friend of mine, and I'll talk about that, a friend of mine mentioned that there was a young man that had kind of hung around the area and he wanted to be like some kind of a, I think it was a merchant marine sailor or something, but he needed a little money for school. And my friend thought, you know what? I'm going to help you to do that. And he helped him to go through school and to do that. And I think he said it cost him in the end about $2,000. And this guy came back because it changed his life. It literally changed his life. And he came back so thankful and so full of gratitude. So, you know, don't let all the bad stories become the end all of trying to do good or being good because it's not always the case, you guys. And that's why I wanted to share that good story because there are good things and, you know, it's not always bad. But yeah, the bad is there. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat that. It's there. AF, so they feel all foreigners are the same. You know, it can be that way, but, you know, I look at it like this. Everybody's different, right? If you're in an area where there's a lot of foreigners and the foreigners have kind of abused that, then maybe that area is that way. But if you go outside, maybe it's a little bit different. Maybe people are friendlier. Maybe they haven't had as many bad experiences. So it's just like living in the city. You're going to get one idea of how things are, and then going outside into the barangay or going even farther out, you're going to get a little bit different vibe. So yeah, I believe it's a mixed bag. I don't believe it's all one way, but there are a lot of foreigners that have ruined it for a lot of good guys that just come here that are decent. But there's a lot of scammers and a lot of bad people that have kind of ruined that also. So it just can kind of come around and go around. All right, let's see. Or Thailand, yeah, Thailand ladies can be the same. You know, I think Asia in general has a lot of trust issues. So Arthur, welcome, Arthur. Hi, Vern. Good morning and happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, my friend. Good to see you. All right. So I believe you're down in Katil, if I remember right. So Toronto, Brad. I've been to Thailand. Filipinos are better. They are looking for love. You know, to me, it's the language. The language of English is so much more beneficial, I believe, because you are going to have a hard enough time in life dating and then trying to communicate to somebody that doesn't have your language. That's almost impossible. And with dating being as hard as it is with both people speaking the same language, you're at a huge disadvantage. And so that's why I didn't see an attraction to Thailand for dating for me at all, like at all. I just was waiting to come back here to the Philippines for that. But yeah, it's an interesting thought. Interesting thought. All right, so one of the issues that I've heard of is if someone wanted to see your phone. Now, I look at it like this. If I'm dating somebody, don't trust me. You don't know me. You don't know me at all. But on the other hand, you have to give a little bit of trust. And that little bit of trust needs to be verified. And then you get a little bit more trust. And it's the same thing for that person. And I look at it like this. If I got to ask to see your phone, then our relationship is probably on the downhill slide. Then I don't think we have much of a relationship if I got to get to that point, because I am hoping that I made a good enough decision in you that I can trust that I would never have to do that, because that is my, I don't know. That's kind of how I trust. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I wouldn't pick somebody that's so distrustful that I have to like go through all these hoops just to get everything verified, like an e-verify. Okay, I need to see your computer. I need to see your phone. I need to see your wallet. I need to see all your photo albums. I need to verify that I can even just begin to start trusting you. To me, that just is like, that's crazy. It's like, do I want to be in this? Do I want to get involved with this if the person can't even give me the benefit of the doubt to have a little trust? You see where that's going? And it's common, I've had friends that they tell me, well, she looks at my phone all the time. And I'm kind of like this. I believe that each person has a little bit of a unique identity. They should have a little bit of their own retreat, their own free space, a little bit of their own privacy. It shouldn't be that one person has every access to every single thing of that other person. To me, that is too much. It's just too much. And I think everybody sometimes has a time where they retreat into themselves for their own benefit, and then they come together, and then they pull away and they retreat a little bit, whether it's just to gain their composure, their thoughts. But for somebody to give up every little aspect of their individualism, it seems a little bit crazy. And maybe it happened over time, but just in the beginning when you're starting, I don't know. I think it's too much, you guys. And I try to be a trustworthy person. When I was working at my own shop I had for 20 years, basically people would come to the shop and I'd say, okay, we're going to work on your car, but I'm going to need a sum of money to begin with. So these people would have to trust me with a couple $1,000s, and I would have to work off that money and show them progress. And then when that money was getting close to being expensed out and used up, I'd say, look, I need some more money. We're at this point in your car. We're still going forward. And for 20 years, I had to do that. So I had to build that trust. And for the people that I might be dating, they don't know that. They don't know me, but I have a reputation for that. And I feel like I can be a trustworthy person. That's why I'm kind of firm at my foundation. It's like, this is who I am. I've built that over years and years and years. And I shouldn't have to go backwards, All right. So I've been to Thailand. Okay, so I did that one. All right. By the way, I like your stream. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate that. So it just varies. Like whatever day, we could just talk about something new. And that's why I like these streams. And the best thing is to connect to you guys, because I know some of you guys don't have a lot of times to watch videos and you would rather just watch a stream. So, and I appreciate that. Hey, Jeff, can you wish my son Brandon a happy birthday? Happy birthday, Brandon. So how old is your son? Wow, that's exciting. And in the Philippines, it's so important to celebrate birthdays. And that is one of the things that I really like. It's very special to them. So thank you for having a birthday. And I'd like to know how old you are. And happy birthday. All right. So veteran in the Philippines. Hello, my friend. Hello. All right. My favorite area is Quasan. Really? So, what do you like so much about that area? What draws you to Quasan? So, mm, I like the southern Visayas the most, and partially because there's a lot of outdoor adventure. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of islands. It's kind of like you have options. You can go from here to here quite easily, and I really like that. I like to be centrally located for traveling. To me, that's a big benefit. All right, so kind of going through some of these here. All right. Hey, John, how am I doing? I am doing good, my friend. Thank you for asking. So I'm starting to feel more alive. Now, I realized yesterday was the absolute first day that everything in my apartment was dialed in, and I felt like it was right to the point of where I left it when I left a year and a half ago. Everything, my green screen is up, my office is dialed in, my generator, I got that going. I'll make a video on that here for you guys. I'm going to step outside tomorrow and work on that car, and that's the next step to get my car. But everything in here is dialed in, and it's like, oh my gosh, I feel now like I'm really home and beginning the next chapter. So really thankful for that. So thank you. So, Chuck, so that's the double side of that coin, Chuck. A little jealousy shows they care, and that's, yeah, what is a little jealousy? Where does that line start and stop? I hear what you're saying. And when it goes over the top, like the way you were accused, my answer would be that was my wife. Maybe you should leave. Yeah. The relationship I was in, we were together for 10 years, and I didn't have a lot of jealousy issues. And I'm not a jealous type person because I look at it like this. If you got somebody else you're interested in and you choose that person, that's your deal. I don't waste a lot of time on jealousy because it just doesn't interest me. And I guess I'm confident in myself that the person that you're with is going to choose whoever they choose, and so be it. Just so be it. And so I don't really get jealous. I may see things that maybe bother me that I think of that I bring up from time to time, but the jealousy, yeah, not so much. I figure life's short enough. Guys shouldn't have to do all that. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. You know, a little thought, right? But how far? Where's that line? Where is that line, Chuck? All right, so Edwin. Vern, planning on making my 5th trip to the Philippines later this year to the Dipolog area. Good for you. Yeah, no trust, no relationship. That's the bottom line, you guys. The bottom line. If you can't trust, if you can't show respect, then you have nothing. You might as well just forget it. Forget the whole thing because you have nothing. And that's how I look at it. You've got to give a little bit of trust, and then they can verify and then get a little bit of trust. And it's like you're climbing this little ladder. You're climbing. And then people get a little more comfortable. But if you're not willing to do that, then you've got no relationship. There's just nothing. It just really is zero. I hate to say it, but that's the bottom line. And it's yeah. All right. So where are we at here? So David, back at David. So I'm just going through in order, you guys, these comments. So David, I made every mistake possible with my Filipina girlfriend. She is now my wife, and we have a beautiful relationship. Good for you. And there's some really cool things that come with dating someone of a foreign country because you're experiencing so many different things, their culture, their values, and you're giving them the same thing back. And it's just a win-win. And it makes it so much more interesting that even if we have issues, we work through that because things are interesting. We feel more alive in those dynamic relationships than if we know somebody and it's so effortless to communicate with them because we're absolutely so similar from our country or whatever that we lose a lot of that dynamic, the pull to keep things together. So yeah, good for you. Good for you. I'm glad that worked out, David. And thank you for sharing that. All right. So Christopher, Hey, Christopher, good to see you, my friend, in your element at home, relaxing, kicking it, doing a live chat, which I know you love doing. Get those cars up and running, brother. So thank you for that. Now, it is nice to have an office, to have a desk that's at hand level instead of sitting in a bed somewhere with the computer. It was interesting, it was exciting, but I'm telling you guys what, after a year and a half, man, I was kind of burned out. I'm like, just get me back home. I want to be back and just forget about sitting in a hotel bed for a while and just kind of dialing in my place and feeling relaxed again. And somebody had said the other day, Vern, how come you haven't been doing any droning? And that's another reason. I was just kind of burned out. I'm like, I don't want to do another video, another editing set of clips from my drone. It's like, So I just recently charged up my batteries in the drone, and that's another thing. We're going to be pulling that out here pretty soon. So yeah, I'm getting my mind reset to go hit it. And I'm so happy to be here. I'm so grateful to be here and grateful to have you guys interested in this area also. All right. So Arthur, I'm still watching. Vern, you're live. Good, good. All right, my friend, appreciate that. So back at John. Hey John, I agree, Vern. I think patience and trust is the foundation to all good relationships. I have been with my Filipina wife for 2 years, and she has never asked to see my phone. Good for you. So that means that the person you're with has some security. They have some confidence. They believe in you. They trust you, and that's awesome. And I hope that always stays that way. It doesn't take much sometimes for that trust to be broken. And I don't blame people if they do ask that or they do question that. It could be baggage from their past. Maybe they were disrespected and maybe it come up that way. Maybe the guys that they grew up around were not good guys, and immediately they think, well, I have to be on the watch for that. Hey, DB Coop, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for that. Just challenging the room to match my super chat, $5 for creativity and individual art. Very kind, my friend, very kind. So thank you for that. So I'm trying to think of when I kind of noticed the jealousy when I first came here to the Philippines. Um, Probably immediately, I think. Um, you know, I try to be respectful when I'm with somebody, when I'm dating. I don't like gawk at all the girls and make it, like obvious. I mean, men are visual. We can't help that. We're going to notice other girls. That's just part of it. But I think we have control over really being glaring and just, look at her. Oh, and that has a lot to do with, you know, how they're going to react to how you act. Are you respectful? Would you want them being like that to all the guys that went by, looking at them and look at that guy there? So it's a two-way street, and it can be a real challenge, you guys, a real challenge. All right. So Edwin, Vern, when are you going to get the guitar out again? So, I have it in the stand, and I was looking at a song to maybe play today, and I didn't pick one out per se, but yeah, that could happen a little later. So maybe towards the end of the stream. So thank you for that. So Edwin, do you play music? Are you a musician also? Let me know. I'd be curious to know. I've met a lot of musicians here, and I've met a lot of Filipino musicians. So a lot of good times. So I'm trying to think of what the best advice I could give you guys for coming here to date. So if you come here to date a girl, just expect that there's going to be some jealousy issues. It's almost inevitable, but to what degree? To what degree? I mean, can you imagine being a guy that your girlfriend doesn't want out of your sight? I mean, that's too much, you guys. It's just too much. It's uncomfortable. And how do you course correct that? How do you course correct if a girl is like looking at all your photos, and I don't know. So I look at it like this too. And I've said this before to other people. So my life before was my history. Now I have a photo album from my last marriage, and I'm trying to think of the last time I've even looked at that album. It's probably been 3 years, maybe 4 years. It just sits in my thing. And the reason I have that, and I have the photos from my past, is it's my story. It's my story. It's not somebody else's story to get jealous over. It's not somebody else's story to destroy or to rid me of. It's my story. And I look at it like this: whatever you have is your story. And I'm okay with that. I'm confident and comfortable enough for you to have that story. And if for someday I ever have a child, I want them to see that album that I have. Why? Because I don't want there to be like this gap. Okay, you were with you were with mom from this time to this time, but what happened to your whole life from here to here? It's gone. It's missing. The album was taken and destroyed. So I know you guys have heard of those examples. Maybe many of you grew up with families like that. Let me know. Let me know if you've had to deal with that. And I don't want that. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. So I think the jealousy can just go so far that it becomes toxic, and it takes away from both people. It steals your joy, and it'll ruin your relationship. So you really have to manage through that. And if somebody is out of the gate, like really jealous, you could be in for a real roller coaster. But, like somebody like David went through those things and they managed it. So it may be manageable, but it just depends to what level you want to go through that work. All right. So, David, when my Filipina girlfriend first met me, she wanted to see my phone, which I heartily obliged. She gave her trust that she needed and didn't ask me to verify again anything. Okay. Well, that worked out the best case scenario. And I would have to say that your actions to how you treated her probably also set the tone for how she would act or react in the future to those things. And it's not so much that I'm against somebody seeing my phone. It's not like I have anything to hide, but I'm trying to say in a little bit stronger tone, please trust me. Please trust that I am a good guy. If I am giving you signals that I don't deserve that, then fine. But if I've given you good signals that say I should be trusted or given the benefit of the doubt, then I think we're going to have a stronger relationship maybe earlier on if those things are allowed to take place. But I'm glad it worked for you, David. I haven't heard that many stories that it did go through. A lot of people give up early on when they have issues like that. They're like, screw it. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to verify everything to this person. I'm just not going to be that. And I think a lot of relationships just go to the wayside right away. And it's too bad because maybe there was something good there, but it didn't get pursued. All right. So, veteran in the Philippines. I'm not in the Philippines yet, Vern, but I hope to be in May or June back in the Philippines. Congratulations when you do get here, because I think it's worth it, my friend. And I am very happy to be here. And there are a lot of people that are in your boat that just in a little season, they're going to be here. And people are messaging me, hey, I just got in. Let's meet. Let's have a coffee. And so I'm all for that, you guys. If you're here and I'm here, let's do it. Let's connect. All right. So Darren. Hey, Darren. Like that fish. Is that a bass? Is that a largemouth bass? Kind of looks like it. I miss fishing. I love fishing. When I was a kid, we used to go fishing for panfish. Back in the States now, just wanted to say thank you for the meetup. Had a great time. Keep up the good work. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you. Always good to see you guys. And we're going to keep on keeping on. So, yeah, let me know how big that fish is. It looks like about a 5-pound largemouth. Very cool. Very cool. And where are you fishing at that? Is that a fish in Illinois, or where is that? I'm kind of curious. All right, beautiful nature. It's not easy to find someone. That's life. I'm more than 11 years. So it is not easy, you guys. And I agree with that. And I'm going to mention something. Now, some guys feel like they need to date everybody and anything all the time, like date, 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 date. But here's something to think about. If you weren't dating, if you were just waiting, I think that you have a greater chance of finding somebody, especially in Asia, than if you were to just constantly just go through the Rolodeck, dating, 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 dating. Why? Because when people become single here, oftentimes they don't become single for very long. Now, you might be in a relationship, go, darn, I wish I would have dated this person, but now I'm in this relationship that I'm not really that hot into, and now you're not available when they were available. So, really consider that, you guys. If you really want to find something lasting, maybe try wait a while. If you know what you're looking for, then if you're just with somebody just to be with somebody, that's like throwing a dart at the dartboard and purposely missing just to be with somebody, right? And why would you do that if you're trying to hit a bullseye? You want to be with somebody that you know what you're looking for. So, and I think that worked out the best for me to be available. I did the dating in the beginning, but it breaks hearts because a lot of times the girls will fall for you, and if there's something missing for you and you're dating them and it didn't work out, then you have that guilt. You feel bad about it, and so became to the point where I'd rather be single and not have the guilt and wait for somebody that I really connected with. And so that's why it was important for me to stay single the times that I did. And it wasn't easy because a lot of people were like, shh, how come you're single? How come you're not with somebody? Especially in Asia, it's not a country where people expect you to be disconnected, to not be with somebody. Who are you with? Who is your girlfriend? That's a weird feeling. But if you have a principle and you know what you want, then consider that. That's all I say to you. Some people they can't be alone, and it's not for everybody, but something to think about. All right, back to AF. All right, being respectful to a Filipina is a great plus. Once she knows you're respectful to her and her family, the jealousy will go away. You gain her trust being respectful. And that could be too. In the beginning, there's some issues because you haven't built up anything with her, that you don't know her, she doesn't know you. And so hopefully that works out that way. I still know guys that have been in relationships for a long time where there's still some friction. Not all of them, but it happens. And like I say, I blame it on the generation for not holding the guys accountable. That's probably the biggest factor. All right. So, Michael, welcome. I used to let my girlfriend, now wife, carry my wallet in her purse to lessen the risk. I would drop it and lose it. Well, there's that. Everybody's got their own comfort level. I think I like carrying my wallet because if anything ever happened, then it's on me. But if you're comfortable with that, who am I to say? All right. So, Ernst, welcome. Hey, Vern. Speaking of jealousy care, how is the Martin doing? About an hour change from Nazareth, and have visited factory several times. Wow. Let me know if you want some swag as I'm up to visit soon. Very cool. Hey, my friend. So the Martin is doing well. I took out both guitars after I was on vacation for a week, and the one guitar seemed to have a little bit of mold on the outside, which cleaned up easily, and then I waxed it. But the other one was fine, the solid body Martin. So, we're doing okay. I'm real grateful because being gone for a year and a half, it could have went really bad for both guitars. What I'd like to do someday, and it's not cheap, is I'd like to build a Martin factory guitar, and it would be something where I'd have to have a lot of time to do it. So it would be in the future, but Martin Guitar Company sells kits where you can build your own guitar, and that would be a lot of fun. So that'd be fun. So have you built any guitars? Let me know, Ernst. All right, so back at Brian. Let's see. Did you really cash out everything and move to the Philippines? Yes, I did. Only to look. So I came here to reset my whole life. It wasn't just about a woman, it was a part of it. But yeah, I came here to reset my whole life because I basically was unsatisfied working in the USA. In the USA, you can work and donate your entire life to working. You can drop dead working. There's so much work. Uh, you can just go to your grave on the work site, whether it's self-employed, whether it's working for somebody. And after a while, I thought, what is this? What is the value of this? Why am I working this hard? And I wasn't happy. I had a big property. I had a bunch of cars. I had no time for friends. I had no time for family. And I had no time for myself. For what? For earning money? Yeah. I had to change my life. And that's pretty much what this was. If you miss fishing, why don't you go fishing? It sounds like the only thing you're fishing for is love. Why not get a hobby other than searching for a girlfriend? So I have lots of hobbies, believe it or not. So now I've seen the guys fishing out here, and I haven't seen a lot of fishing. So I don't think the fishing is too hot right here. I think you'd have to probably go out a ways if you're going to catch any fish. All right. So, any event, it's easy to be critical. It's another thing to actually set your own standard. So, Edwin, Vern, I used to play, but planning on taking lessons and getting my four guitars out of mothballs. Good for you. Good for you. So that's something important. I'm running into people that want to take guitar lessons, and I hope that the music in life and the arts will be as important in the future as it was for me when I was growing up and getting to experience that. So I hope that is something that keeps continuing. All right. So, Darren, that's an Illinois farm pond bass, 10 pounds. Wow, that's a monster. 12-ounce, love to fish. All right, good for you. Uh, all right. So, Brian asks, if you're dating someone that's not ideal for you and someone better becomes available, why can you not break with that person? Well, of course you can break with that person. But my point is why would you indirectly choose that person if you know that wasn't the right person for you just to be with somebody? To me, that would be unacceptable, right? Why would you throw a dart at a dartboard and miss the bullseye if you know you're trying to hit for the center? That's basically the point. All right, so back at Chuck. If she wants to see my phone, no problem. I can see on my laptop what she is doing. If she clicks on a bank account, game over. The accounts need a fingerprint to open. Could be a good test. Trust, 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 trust. That's the biggest foundation for any relationship is establishing trust. If you have no trust, you have no relationship. And so that's why it's really important to get that dialed in early on, because if you don't, then you don't have anything. I'm trying to think of anything else that I've had that was really weird dating. Um, I didn't have too many issues, luckily, but I mean, that one where the girl said, "Well, who is that girl on your motorcycle?" And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" If I'm dating, I'm with one girl. I'm not dating several girls. That's just not me. That's not my style. I don't need to be with a bunch of girls. I mean, it's crazy. So in any event, you guys, when you come to Asia, you're going to deal with issues dating. You're going to deal with insecurity. You're going to deal with trust issues. And it could be a minefield, but from what some of the other people have put in, it could be a beneficial deal. And it doesn't seem like it's not completely uh, unworkable. Some have mentioned that they've worked through those issues and it's helped them come on top. So, take it in stride and test it and see where it's going. So, like I said before, if someone had to see my phone, I'm going to let them see my phone. But if it's continued, then it just says, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. And how does that make you feel? If someone says, I don't trust you, it's like you're trying to build a foundation and they're chipping away at the foundation. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. And pretty soon, your foundation is going to kind of drop down. So, you got to establish that. You've got to find a comfort zone for both people. So, all right. So that was kind of my big thing that I was thinking about today, you guys. And when some of you share some of the stories with me, I kind of hold it in confidence, but I also try to kind of put it all together as a bigger picture and say, okay, well, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. Now, to what degree is this happening with you guys? And what can we do about it? How do we navigate through it? And where's it going to go? So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. All right, you guys, I didn't have a lot on my plate today, but I wasn't even sure that I was going to live stream today. I'm like, I don't want to live stream today. Maybe I could. And I had nothing to talk about in my head yesterday. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? And then it just clicked in my head: jealousy and insecurity in dating in Asia. And I'm not immune to it either, you guys. I get those things. I get tested. I get grilled. I get questions, just like all you guys. And that's pretty much what it is. Girls will ask questions because they want to test how you handle these things. They want to basically know you without finding any other way to kind of probe you. So, something to think about. All right. So while you answer my question, thank you so much. You are a great example of a Christian man who pleases God with his character qualities and the way you treat others with dignity, kindness, and love. Well, thank you, Brian. I'm not perfect. I'm just I'm just a sinful man in need of a savior myself, but I try to be decent when I'm dating. I try to be somewhat kind and loving if I can. I try to extend my trust when people don't deserve it. And I've got burned many times because of it. But in the end, I don't look at it being against me for trying to be good, trying to be kind to other people. I think that's how we have to be. But, looking back, there's things that I've probably done that I've hurt trust in different issues, and I started out, I wasn't a very trusting person when I was a kid. I stole some things up until probably age 16. I'd taken money, I'd taken cigarettes, I took a ring, I took some things from my friends. I was not a trustworthy person when I was a kid. I had my world fall apart twice. I got into getting high when I was a kid. But my dad took off when I was 15. He was into meth. He lost our house. I went to live with my aunt and uncle. They kicked me out after a year and a half. Our trust had gone. And it was at that point my whole life reset. I had to reset everything. I realized that I had a searing in my heart of guilt from the things that I did, the things that I stole. I had the guilt come in, and I didn't like to live with that. I had to live with myself, and that was the hardest thing. And it was at those times that I changed and I grew and I became a better man. And then when I had my own business, I had learned how to do auto body work the absolute worst way. I learned how to hack out a job and make it look like it hadn't been hacked out. I worked for a guy that was like a perfectionist, but he also did work that was so hacky, but it looked perfect at the end, and it was at that point I thought, I don't feel comfortable doing this really hacky work that other people are going to have like fall apart in a short time, and I thought, I'm just going to do high quality work. And that's how I built my reputation of doing show cars. And I was number one in what I did. And I have a reputation to this day because of that. People trusted me with their cars, with their money, and I earned that. And it didn't come easy because, like I say, I didn't start out being really honest when I was a kid. I was good for a while, but then I got into a little bit of trouble, and that's when it started. So, I'm just a sinner trying to be a better sinner, and that's how I look at it. But I think as we learn, we should be able to get a little bit better. So back to David. When people hear me talking about guitars, they ask me if I play the guitar. I tell them that I play with guitars. I would rather work on them. Interesting. So there is a luthier here, David, and he is in Valencia, right on the edge of Valencia and Dumaguete. Really cool guy. And I did two videos of him if you didn't see those. And he was a nice guy. And he is from, God, where's he from? New Jersey or New York? Somewhere on the East Coast. Really cool guy. His name is Dave. Hey, Jordan. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. And yeah, it's been a while. So you came a little bit earlier this time. So good for you. Another U2 song. I'm not sure if I have another U2 song. Do I know another U2 song? Good question. If I can think of one, I'll do it. I'm trying to think if I know another U2 song. I'll have to look in my book. All right. So veteran in the Philippines. What type of drone do you have? I have the Mavic Mini. In fact, I have it. Oh, did I put it away? No. I think I just put it in my backpack. Just the Mavic Mini. Not a super fancy drone. It's my first drone. And yeah, we need to get that dude out pretty soon. I got so burned out I didn't want to use it anymore because it was just another set of editing things. And when I was in Thailand, I was doing Instagram. I was doing, what's the other one? I was doing YouTube Shorts. and I was also editing my videos. So I'm really out of my sync right now, coming back here and getting all this stuff going. So I'll have to get back into that again and then get my drone added to that mix. So it's a lot of work, you guys. Editing videos, it's unbelievable. Most people don't really know how much time that takes. So good to see you, Jordan, and welcome, my friend. All right, so back at A&F. Vern, do you like to do interviews? I love to do interviews. I really do. And I probably would have interviewed more people. Now, I'm going to answer a question that somebody else had asked earlier also. Now, when I did that video, the last video where I was meeting people, I kind of feel out the video, or I'm sorry, I kind of feel out the moment when I'm with people. Some people, they pull out their camera, they want a photo, then I'm like, okay, maybe I'll make a video of this scene, this environment. I don't film everything in my life, you guys. It's not like a full life documentary, but I sometimes just show you clips. Those are the clips of the experience. And it's almost like a diary for me. Hey, these are the people that I met. I'm grateful that I met them. I'm thankful that they invited me out. And I just wanted to show little clips of that. I didn't really want to interview everybody. And I look at it like this. When I meet people, I'm not there to get something from them. I'm there just to meet them and begin a friendship. And if something develops out of that, cool. That's another reason why when I went down to see Kulas, I didn't like film his house and film everything that was going on. I kind of like backed way off. Like, this is me being respectful. If I were to meet somebody and immediately the camera comes out and they're filming me and I'm like, okay, it gets a little weird. There has to be like a little bit of a respect or maybe an understanding that we're going to be doing a video or something before I do that. So just so you guys have a little bit idea. Maybe it would be good if you could interview a couple of girls and talk about jealousy so we can hear it from them. You know, that's a good point. And I have a few thoughts in the future for some videos, and that may happen. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. All right. So nice idea. Yeah. And I know you guys would like to get the female perspective, and I am more than happy to chat some girls and try to get some of that for you guys. I think that would be interesting for me too, because there's still things that I need to learn. I need to learn more about the culture, more about the history, more about how girls view foreigners, how they view the locals. And I think that you guys would really get something out of that too. You know, one of the things that I really want to do is I want to visit more older people here. I want to hear the stories. I want to hear what it was like during World War II, what it was like here during the 60s. What were those times about, you know? And it's harder to find people that speak good English unless they were like an OFW that are here. So I do have a hard time finding that. But it is here, and I have chatted a couple people. There was a gal that was just down the street, but I think she went to Manila. I would have loved to have made a video with her. So interesting, you guys. And the older people are the asset of the community here. And I love that. It's just wonderful, and they're respected. All right. So RLV, you too, with or without you. 'Cause I can't live with or without you. I'm trying to think if I have that. I used to have it. That's a great song. And you give yourself away. That is a good song. I used to karaoke that a long time ago. You know, I'll have to look through my books. How about this? How about next stream? I'll play a couple songs on the last. I'll pick like 3 songs and I'll try to find that song for you. How's that? We'll compromise on that. All right. So Chuck, what phone service do you use there? Now, I had to buy both SIMs, a Smart and a Globe, because my Globe service is so terrible here. And I found so far that my Smart service has been way better than my Globe service. So, yeah, I would, you know, I guess it all depends on where you're at. I would just get both SIMs if you can have them. They're not much money. I just loaded both SIM cards today, and I run all my streams on the Smart card, and it seems to work out the best. I have Globe like just drop all the time. And like I say, the only reason I have it is in case the coverage is better in one area, then I have the Globe set up. So now I'm going to start travel vlogging here and living in my car pretty soon once my car is figured out. In fact, I'm going to start tomorrow on that. I got my generator up and going, and I made some little videos on that. But yeah, once that car's dialed in, guys, we're going to go. All right. So, Brian, thank you for that. Hey, guys, after the chat is over, don't forget to come back to give Vern a thumbs up. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. You know, it just helps the metrics. It helps everything if there's engagement, if there's comments, there's likes and dislikes. You know, even the dislikes help a video, believe it or not. So, you know, I know there's always somebody in there that's going to give me a dislike. And it's like, okay, fine. You're still helping the channel, even if you do that. That's okay. You know, and I'll never please everybody. I'll never be 100% for everybody. All right. So, AF, maybe you can do a live stream with the girls so we can ask questions. You know, that's not a bad thought. So, I've got something in the works, you guys. And I've got to get my car up and going. That's like the first thing. And then I'll check into that. So, I am, yeah, I don't want to break it yet because I got to keep something under my hat. I can't tell you guys everything. I already told you the car camping thing, but I don't want to tell you everything yet. I'm going to be doing some different things that other people have not done that I have seen, and I'm going to incorporate different parts of different things into my channel. And I think it'll be interesting, and I hope you guys will find it interesting also. And we'll find out. You guys are the audience. So, David, I saw those videos. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Back at Edwin Vega. So, Brian, great point. So, the best thing that I can say to kind of sum things up is there are some great, great, great people here in the Philippines. But you're going to have to take your time and really get to know who you're with, know their family, because you're not going to be able to date them without the family. A lot of times it's a tribe. You're becoming part of the tribe. And hopefully you get a family good enough that accepts you inside the tribe and doesn't keep you outside their tribe. Okay? That's really important. So you're going to have issues that the culture has, from maybe the guys not being so good over all these years, being lady chick boys, from foreigners not being good guys, cheating on the girls. And, you know, it's a bit of a minefield. But the thing that I can honestly say is if you can find a good girl here and have the patience to nurture that, I think you will probably find one of the best girls that you're ever going to be able to find. And maybe you could say that about Thailand, maybe you could say about Vietnam, but I'm pretty confident about saying that in the Philippines. And the way I look at it is there are a lot of ways a person can go bad in Asia. And if you can find somebody that has stayed good, that has stayed honest and decent, then you maybe really have something special, you guys, because they've had all the opportunity to go the other way. So that's something to really think about. So, all right. So, Steve, good to see you, Steve. Now that you are back, girlfriend in the future, we're working on it. We're working on it. So, you know, it's just best to take it one day at a time. You know, don't rush into things. I think that everything will seek its own level if it's meant to be, you know? And the thing that I've noticed with a relationship is if you don't pressure them and you give them the space to come forward and come back, then you know that they want to be with you, right? And it should be both ways. And that's where the trust and the love and the respect comes. All right, so Philip, thank you for that. You're 100% for me. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. So we've just got a couple minutes, you guys. I'm back at Chuck. I knew you would give your honest opinion. Smart Sim, it is. Thank you. You know, it used to be Globe. Globe had the best option, but then I started hearing other people, hey, I'm using the Smart. When all this typhoon stuff went kind of south, a lot of people had mentioned that they had better luck with their Smart Sim. Now, I honestly have not gone outside of the city a ton, and I haven't live streamed outside the city. So let's see, I didn't live stream in Katil. I was outside there, but I didn't really need to connect to the internet other than like running my map or running some of the basic messenger apps. So I can't say for certain if it's the best everywhere. I'm still in conflict trying to determine that. So I hope you don't gauge, well, Vern said it was 100%. Nah, I've got both sims for a reason because I'm not sure yet, okay? But Smart's been really good. It's been really good, especially around Dumageddon. And yeah, I hope it works out for you guys. All right, so we just got a little bit of time for a couple more questions. All right, so back at Edwin Vern, I have one of those girls now, but not in a rush to get married. You know, if a person could just take a little bit more time and just go slow, you know, I think there's some benefit to that. I really do because you get to know them, they get to know you, you get to kind of know the family a little bit better and see if they treat you good, if they respect you. And that's super important because, like I say, you're not going to be with somebody in Asia and not be connected to that family, right? And you don't want to be the outside person. You want to be in there with all of them. And that's what really makes a good relationship. And it keeps it healthy. All right. So, what kind of car is it? So, I have a Nissan X Trail, and it's a four-wheel drive. I think it was 2005, but it's got low kilometers. It has like 38,000 kilometers, which I think is what, 28,000 miles or 30,000 miles. Really low miles. And I waited 2 years to find that car, and I found it up in Manila, and I shipped it back here because if you guys are ever looking for a car, you can get about 100,000 pesos better price up in Manila for a car than you can down in the central Visayas, is what I was finding back then. So you get a little bit better deal. All right, you guys. Last couple questions. Steve, when I was there in 2020, Filipina had both Smart and Globe. Yeah. So maybe it's still that way. I'm not sure. I know there's another teleco that's here. And I'm trying to think of the name. I haven't heard the name but more than a few times, but I'm trying to think of what it is. It's yeah, but there is another one here, and I don't think they're very big yet, but they are trying to get other options. And people keep talking about the Elon Musk thing. If the internet is going to be established here for the satellite, and that would be about $100 a month, which is not that bad because what was I looking at? Like 1,300 pesos for a basic 20. No, I think it was like a 50 gigabyte plan. It might have been a little bit more, like $30, $50. I forget. But anyway, uh, it would be a bunch more money. But if you had the option to have solid internet all the time through all the storm seasons and whatnot, that might be a benefit if you really had to have good solid internet, having a satellite internet. I don't know if the speeds are fast enough yet. I just don't know enough about it. I remember it used to be where the bandwidth speeds weren't that high coming and going, but I think maybe they've got some of that taken care of by now. All right, you guys. So let's go one more comment. Well, these last two, and then that's it, you guys. So, hey, Daniel. Hey, Vern. Is there another typhoon heading your way? I hear that it's raining quite a bit here. It's raining a lot. It's really raining a lot. And it's been raining a lot since the time that I came back here from Davao. Now, I heard that there was some kind of a typhoon coming through, but I haven't looked at it. Let me look at the storm radar real quick. Let me see what that's looking like because I haven't. I saw a blip the other day, but I didn't look at it real closely. So let's look at the storm radar. Let's see if we can find out what's going on here. Let's see if it'll show me. Yeah, I'm not. I've pulled it up, but I'm not seeing anything yet. I'm trying to figure it out. So let's see if there is something here. I don't know why it's not playing. Usually it'll like, there it is. Okay. So let's see what we got. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a big deal coming through here, you guys. There's a real big storm coming through. That looks like a big whopping storm. Yeah, there's something coming through. Now, I did not study that. I don't know how big it is, but it looks like it's headed right for me, right just north of me a little bit. So I'm in Dumaguete, Valencia area. Yeah, that looks like a big whopper. Should be a bunch of rain. Yep, you're right. You're right. All right, you guys. One last one. So Damn Cars hasn't had a chance, and that's going to be our last comment, you guys. So good to see you, my friend. A man's value increases with age. I finally got lucky at 63. Be honest and open. Say what you want, you know? And as a man, I think you're the foundation of the relationship. You are the guy that's got to put the foot down. You know, if you believe strongly that you're a good guy, and that you're being honest, you're being as good as you can, then stand up for what you believe in. If you don't believe in yourself, how is anybody else going to believe in you, right? How are they going to attach themselves to your foundation if you can't be strong and be of a good person too? So I think that goes a long way in establishing, but it comes with time. It comes with growth and learning and patience. And it's something I didn't have early on. I didn't know how to be a foundation. I didn't have much foundation. It just come with time. So good for you that you got lucky at 63. I'm sure there are guys that never get lucky. So I'm real happy to hear that. And that's all I've got, you guys. I didn't have much content to go much longer. So thank you for coming, and I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.